Good Saturday evening to you, wrestling fans. Josh coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia for another night of great wrestling action. The Rock and Roll Express taking on Thunderfoot 1 and Thunderfoot 2 to open up the program. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wait a minute, that's the Midnight Express! Beautiful Bob Eaton and Sweet Stan Lane from behind the World Tag Team Champions. Ricky and Robert don't know they're coming. From behind, beautiful Bobby takes down Ricky Martin, but Robert Gibson gets run over by Sweet Stan Lane. Thunderfoot 1 and 2 hightailed it out of the ring. They're taking off through the crowd. Our ring announcer also seeking shelter. These two teams will clash next week for the World Tag Team titles at Clash of the Champions, but this might be a preview. Right now, Robert fighting back, throws Bobby in the ring. There's the referee. We're going to have a match right here. It's going to be the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express right now. No, Bobby wants no part of Robert Gibson. Cat and mouse game being played. Bobby was banking on Pearl harboring Robert Gibson, but Robert Gibson has recovered, at least momentarily. And now Gibson and Morton, they've shed their coats. They're ready to battle. They want to do it right now. Ricky says, come on, let's go. He takes down beautiful Bobby. Sweet Stan running into Ricky Morton. Lane trying to plow the man over. A knee to the midsection of Gibson. Referee Bill Scott calling for some help here. He's trying to get our security team out here to break this up. This is not a match. This is not a sanctioned match here tonight. The Midnight Express attacking the Rock and Roll Express on their way to the ring. Stan Lane said something to Bill Scott, the referee, right there. He is telling him to get out of the ring. They are not involved in this match. Now Lane playing a game of cat and mouse with Robert Gibson. Gibson wants the Midnight Express in the ring. Beautiful Bobby takes down Gibson. And Stan Lane doing his best to get away from Robert Gibson. I don't know what's being said between the referee and Lane. Are we going to have a match or not? Suplex on the floor. We got Eaton in the ring. Referee's calling for the bell. He said to throw this one out. We're back, fans. Our security team breaking up that melee. We're going to have a standby match. Thunderfoot 1 and 2 have returned to the ring. They're going to take on Brad Armstrong and Tommy Rich. What a match it's going to be next week for the World Tag Team titles when Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson challenge the champions, the Midnight Express. Beautiful Bob Eaton and Sweet Stan. I thought we were going to get a bonus match here tonight between the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express. But in fact, Morton, Gibson, Lane, Eaton, they have been banned from ringside tonight. They are likely facing fines. Most likely that fine will go to the Midnight Express. That's going to hurt Jim Cornette's pocketbook. Referee Bill Scott calls for the bell. That's Thunderfoot 1 in there against Brad Armstrong. Good snap suplex there. Sold out crowd here tonight in Atlanta, Georgia. Shoulder claw applied by Armstrong. Driving the man to the mat. What a night it's going to be. 2 semifinal matches in that TV title tournament. We've got Dusty Rhodes taking on the Enforcer, Arn Anderson. And the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff, taking on gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. The winners of those 2 matches will face next week for the TV title at Clash of the Champions 2 Spring Stampede. Into the corner. Thunderfoot 1 throws Brad Armstrong into the corner. Now shoots him to the opposite side. Referee Bill Scott got nicked on the way through. Big boot there to the face. And now Armstrong has him up. Atomic drop. That'll send pain up your spine. Armstrong now whips him into the corner. Tag made to Wildfire. Tommy Rich. Double team coming up. Good assisted leg drop by Rich and Armstrong. Leaping elbow drop by Wildfire. Also tonight, big grudge match. The Barbarian taking on Road Warrior Hawk. Those 2 men will wrestle again next week in tag team action. At the Clash of the Champions. Thunderfoot 2 tags himself in. Tommy Rich ready for him with that drop toe hold. Also tonight, another grudge match. Ron Simmons, the All-American, taking on the Clawmaster, Barbarian Raschke. We saw Raschke and Ivan Koloff attacking Sam Houston last week. More specifically, it was Barbarian Raschke But Ivan Koloff also getting involved. Also tonight in action, we've got Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Manny Fernandez, the man who calls himself the Raging Bull. Also Chief Wahoo McDaniel in action. The boss, Magnum TA, is here. A warm-up match before the Clash of the Champions, where he will challenge for the world title against Nature Boy Ric Flair. What a night it's going to be. Thank you so much for tuning in. Boot to the face by Thunderfoot 2. Brad Armstrong with a cheap shot from behind. Good waist-locking suplex there by Wildfire. This team of Thunderfoot 1 and 2 cannot be underestimated. Deep arm drag there by Wildfire Tommy Rich. Right hand by Rich knocks Thunderfoot 1 off the apron. And a clubbing blow by Wildfire picks the man up. Beautiful suplex there by Wildfire Tommy Rich. He is sizing up Thunderfoot 2. Good job by Thunderfoot. Rich was charging in. But now Rich wraps him up. He's getting pinned. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Thunderfoot 1 was coming in to make the save. But Thunderfoot 2 able to kick out on his own accord. Rich has him pinned again. Rich using the bottom rope for extra leverage. I think that was inadvertent. All 4 men in the ring now. Referee warning Armstrong to get out of the ring. He is not the legal man. Wraps that leg over that bottom rope. Digging it into the flesh. Into the corner. Big boot there by Thunderfoot 2. Thunderfoot 1 has the referee distracted. Good spinning back elbow by Thunderfoot 2. Thunderfoot 2, DDT! He just planted Rich. Upset City in the making. Has him up. Gonna slam him down. Samoan driver. And Rich in trouble here. Lateral press. He's got the man pinned. Brad Armstrong ready to save his partner. Thunderfoot 1 and 2 would have won that match right there had Armstrong not interfered. And Bill Scott warning him to get out of the ring. Throws Thunderfoot 2 up and over. From the top rope onto the floor, a big splash. Armstrong working over Thunderfoot 2. Referee needs to restore some order here. Throws him back in the ring, and now Tommy Rich stopping on the knee. Rich might be slapping on that figure 4. Kicks the leg. Rich measures him. Fans standing here in Atlanta. Blue Thez Prez. And now pounding, pummeling the face of Thunderfoot 2. Down goes Thunderfoot 1. Brad Armstrong once in there. Tag made. Armstrong's going to make the cover. Rich gives him the present. And he accepts. Easy win here tonight for Brad Armstrong and Tommy Rich. Despite some offense from Thunderfoot 1 and 2. It is Rich and Armstrong picking up the victory. There you see it. What a DDT, though. I guess I shouldn't say it came so easily. At least not for Tommy Rich. In fact, Thunderfoot 2 very well could have won the match had Armstrong not interfered.
Here are your winners, Brad Armstrong and Tommy.
Great victory to kick off the program for Brad Armstrong and Wildfire Tommy Rich. Don't go anywhere, fans. We'll be right back. Welcome back, wrestling fans. It is time to resume the World Television Title Tournament. The enforcer, Arn Anderson, making his way to the ring. And you can bet he is not coming alone. No, indeed, there's Barry Windham leading the charge. And Tully Blanchard has emerged through the curtain. They will have the back of the enforcer for this TV title tournament match. We are down to the final four. Anderson, Rhodes, Koloff, and Jimmy Garvin.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring, accompanied by Tully Blanchard, and representing the Four Horsemen from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 225 pounds, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson.
It surprises me that Nature Boy Ric Flair did not come out with the Enforcer here tonight. He is in the building. I saw him earlier. The World Champion is here, but not coming out with Blanchard, Anderson, and Wyndham. Flair getting ready for that big main event next week at the Clash of the Champions 2 Spring Stampede, where he will be challenged by Magnum TA, the world title on the line. American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, about to make his way to the ring. Fans cheer in advance in anticipation of the American Dream's arrival. And he brought some friends, Sting and Ron Garvin.
And Sting from Austin, Texas.
We know next week it's going to be Ron Garvin taking on Barry Windham.
70 pounds.
That is a first blood match. And of course, Sting has no love lost for the Enforcer, Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson has interfered in Sting's matches several times, and then last week we saw Anderson deliver that devastating low blow to defeat Sting in the quarterfinals round. You can bet Sting has not forgotten that, especially after he attacked the Enforcer, Arn Anderson, last week. Will Sting get involved here? You can bet he's going to do everything in his power to make sure Anderson does not win here tonight. American Dream Dusty Rhodes would love to become the first World TV Champion, but so would the Enforcer, Arn Anderson. Anderson would love to collect another World Championship for the Four Horsemen. Anderson picks him up. Good left jab there by Anderson. That really rocked the American Dream. He's going for a slingshot suplex, so this is for you, Tully. Tully looks impressed. Devastating move there by the Enforcer. And things going the Horseman's way early on. Hopefully Ron Garvin and Barry Windham can keep their cool. What a right hand there by the American Dream. And look at that, Dusty yelling down at Tully Blanchard. We saw Blanchard attack Rhodes last week. And now Rhodes going for the pile driver. Plants him. Again, Tully Blanchard hating Dusty Rhodes. Good kick out there by Double A. What a chop there by the American Dream. Our main event tonight, the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff taking on gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. That is our final semifinals match. The last one. Again, Tully Blanchard yelling something at Dusty Rhodes that Rhodes did not like. He walks over there, looks down at him. Rhodes has to keep his concentration on Double A. He is not wrestling Tully Blanchard. He is wrestling the Enforcer. Rhodes now. Devastating move coming. No, a stomp right to the midsection. Rhodes looked down at Sting first. I think Sting wanted him to stomp him lower, but Rhodes did not do so. Good knife edge chop. He sliced his Adam's apple. Busted him open right there with an elbow to the forehead. And now Rhodes throws him face first into that top turnbuckle. And Anderson bleeding profusely from the forehead. And Rhodes puts him up on the top rope here. Big side slam. Down goes Arn Anderson. Anderson trying to wipe the blood out of his eyes. Rhodes has him pinned here. Hooks the leg. Gets a 2 count. Rhodes wanting to move on to the finals next week. The elbow to that wounded forehead. And again, Rhodes concentrating on that bloodied forehead. Whips him into the corner. Charging in. Splashes the Enforcer. Down goes Double A. And now Rhodes trying to make Anderson call it quits right here. Referee Bill Scott asking him. And Tully Blanchard again having words with Rhodes. Look out. Come on, Rhodes. Don't get involved here. You're going to get disqualified. Barry Windham came over and Rhodes backed down. Rhodes backed down to Windham. He knew he was outnumbered. But Rhodes just snapped Anderson's throat right over that top rope and a cover. Leg hooked. 2 count only. Rhodes has to keep his concentration off Blanchard and on his opponent. We saw Tully attack Rhodes last week near the ice machine. Backstage, pummeled him with that chair repeatedly. And now Rhodes, he was calling out to the crowd. They said figure 4, and that's what he's going to give him. He's got it locked in. Anderson might have to quit right here. Can Anderson get out? Anderson just punching those legs. If there's a weakness in Dusty Rhodes, it is those legs. They've been hurt numerous times in the recent past. Tully Blanchard just shoved a chair under the bottom rope. Anderson was doing fine by himself here. He does not need the assist of that chair. Besides, if he uses it, he'll be disqualified. Rhodes sweeps the leg out from underneath Double A. And now Rhodes might be going for the chair. No, he's not. What a right hand. Really knocked the breath out of the American Dream. Anderson puts him on the ropes. Big right hand. And another. Anderson again going for that slingshot suplex. Can he get him up? Yes, he can. Referee Bill Scott moved the chair out of the way in the nick of time. I think Double A was going to suplex him on that chair. And now Anderson raining down right hands on the forehead, right between the eyes. Anderson now removing that top turnbuckle pad. He's going to throw Rhodes into that exposed steel. There he goes, back first, and Dusty Rhodes just collapses. Anderson was going to greet him with a clothesline if he had stayed up, but Rhodes just fell. And he falls again as Anderson clips the leg. And now Double A going to work on the legs. The scouting report says that's the weakness of Dusty Rhodes. Anderson with that vicious leg lock. Clubbing right hand. Has him. Again the leg. Snaps it down. Trying to break the leg of the American Dream. And Anderson trying to catch his breath. Puts the hands on the hips. Spine buster. He was gearing up for that move. He got the big man up and planted him. He's moving on. Near fall. He almost had him. Dusty just kicked out. I thought Anderson was moving on to the finals right there. And now it's Anderson going into that exposed steel. Dusty returns the favor. And a knee right to the lower back. And another. The blood continues to pour from the forehead of the Enforcer. Front face locked by Rhodes. Sleeper hold. He's got him in the sleeper. This could be all. Anderson thrashing the arms around. Trying to break free. Referee checking in. He meant to call it here, but no, Anderson able to fight free. He just drove the chin into the top of the head. Kick. There's a DDT out of nowhere. He planted the American Dream. 1. Hooks the leg. Anderson moving on. Garvin and Sting can't believe it. Out of nowhere, Anderson executes that beautiful DDT, and he has moved on to the finals. It'll be Arn Anderson wrestling for the TV title next week against either Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin or the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff. We'll find out later tonight who the opponent will be, but Dusty Rhodes is out. Nearly pinned him there with that spine buster. And there you see that beautiful DDT caught Dusty by surprise. Anderson, so good. Let's get the official word.
Here is your winner, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson.
We're not done, fans. More action still to come. Welcome back to the ring. The Barbarian of the Powers of Pain, Paul Jones's Army, taking on Road Warrior Hawk in a grudge match.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Number 1, Paul Jones, accompanying his man to the ring.
Accompanied by Paul Jones. And from your darkest fears, weighing in at 300 pounds, the Barbarian.
Barbarian looks ready for this matchup. Next week, it is going to be the Road Warriors taking on the Powers of Pain at the Clash of the Champions 2 Spring Stampede, where we're getting an early preview here in singles action. Warlord and Warlord and Animal are not in the building tonight. Or so I'm told.
And his opponent, accompanied by Precious Paul L. Reed. And from Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 304 pounds, Hulk.
We are with you for about 30 more minutes here tonight. Thank you so much for adjusting to the new start time, the traditional time of 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be the new time each and every week here on YouTube. And we are set to begin. This one's not going to be pretty. Referee Bill Scott calls for the bell. Paul Ellering in the corner of Road Warrior Hawk. Number 1, Paul Jones in the corner of the Barbarian. Big slam there by Road Warrior Hawk. But a headbutt by the Barbarian really rocked Hawk. And a headbutt again. Looked like to the shoulder. And now Barbarian tried to deadlift Hawk. Can he get him up? Yes, he can. Has him up. Gut wrench slam. Beautifully done by the Barbarian. I think they are equally matched in strength. The Barbarian going for a quick win. Hooks the leg. Gets a 1 count. Before Hawk kicks out. Hawk gets to his feet quickly. But right back down. That sledgehammer blow there by the Barbarian. And again, Barbarian going for the cover. Must have early dinner plans. He is trying to polish off Hawk early. What a clothesline there by Road Warrior Hawk. He drilled Barbarian with it. And now just kicking him. Hawk picks him up. Swift kick right to the throat. Hawk now going for the suplex. Instead just slams him down face first. I think Arn Anderson used to call that the gourd buster. Although he usually went down with the man instead of just releasing him. Deadlifting Hawk. What a power bomb. He's going to do it again. No, he's not. He's going to turn him over. Boston Crab, but Road Warrior Hawk is close to the ropes. Just needs to reach out and grab that bottom rope instead. Goes the hard way by using the strength in the legs. Barbarian up in the face. He just kicked Paul Ellering. And Hawk did not like that one bit. From behind, Barbarian moved out of the way. But not this time. A suplex on the floor. Ellering trying to work it out here. I think he kicked him right in the midsection. Barbarian throws Hawk into that steel railing. It has a thin pad over it, but that does very little to cushion any blow. Barbarian slams Hawk on the floor. Picks him up. Throws him toward Paul Ellering. And again, look out, Paul! He just punched Paul Ellering right in the mouth. Ellering just shook it off. Ellering's a tough man. Look at this here. Barbarian going after Ellering. He should be disqualified right here. Barbarian should have been disqualified for putting his hands on a manager. Takes down Ellering. Come on. It's going to be a double count out. We'll be right back. Disappoint. Wait a minute, fans. We're backstage. That's Ron Garvin. Garvin just Pearl Harbored Barry Windham from behind. And now has Windham on the floor. Throws Windham. And now has him down. They're going to meet next week in a first blood match. That was a double count out between Barbarian and Hawk. But meanwhile, Ron Garvin and Barry Windham mixing things up. But it's been all Ron Garvin so far. Garvin picks up a trash can. He just pummeled Wyndham with it. And now going after a steel chair. Where's the rest of the horsemen? He just drilled Wyndham. Nailing him with that chair. We've got to get back to the ring. Wyndham will need medical attention. Hopefully he can make it to the Clash of the Champions next week. Raschke making his way to the ring.
Is scheduled for one fall.
He is taking on the All-American Ron Simmons in a grudge match.
Accompanied by the Russian gladiator, Koloff. And from Germany, weighing in at 281 pounds, Barbarian.
Raschke with Ivan Koloff and number 1 Paul Jones in his corner, taking on the All-American Ron Simmons, one half of the U.S. Tag Team Champions. Fans, we've had a match signed, another match signed for Clash of the Champions 2 Spring Stampede. Tully Blanchard will take on the American Dream Dusty Rhodes next week. It's another great match to add to the card. I'll have a complete rundown for you before we go off the air. Baron waiting for Ron Simmons to come to the ring. Raschke, the master of the claw, hopes to lock it on Simmons. Sam Houston is accompanying Simmons to the ring. Glad to see that. That somewhat evens it up. Still outnumbered 3-2, but Sam Houston's presence will make a difference at ringside.
WCW Tag Team Champions, the All-American Ron Simmons.
Sam Houston would love to get his hands on Baron von Raschke after Raschke attacks Sam Houston. But tonight he's backing his man, Ron Simmons. Referee Bill Scott calls for the bell. And Barry Windham. Raschke just raked the eyes, throws Simmons into the ropes. Good drop down. And another. Good hip toss there by Raschke. Really took the man down. Now stomps the back of the head. Look at Raschke looking down at Sam Houston. Kicked him right in the ribs. A kick to the chest. Raschke just working over Ron. But Ron fighting back with a backdrop. Simmons now putting the boots to Raschke. Simmons, of course, the master of that running power slam. He'd love to lock that on Raschke here tonight. Pin him for the 1-2-3. Raschke in the corner. Big right hand by Ron. And another. And Ron now runs with him. Bulldog. He planted Raschke. Turns him over. Looking for the early win. Hooks the leg. One. No. Raschke kicked out very easily. But right back down to the mat he goes as Simmons delivers a vicious clubbing blow right to the forehead, into the corner. Simmons puts him up on the top rope. Also signed for next week, the Powers of Pain taking on the Road Warriors inside a steel cage. It's going to be a steel cage match. That's happening next week at the Clash of the Champions. Don't miss that for anything. Next Saturday night, May 31st, 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Clubbing blow there by Raschke. Breaks the eyes again. The great equalizer and a vicious clothesline that took down Ron Simmons. And Raschke, what's going to do with him here? Giant swing. Round and around he goes and just tosses him into the corner. Raschke might be going for the claw right here. Good running strike there. No, Ron Simmons caught him with a punch to the midsection as he was coming in. High knee lift by Ron. And Simmons picks him up. What a right hand. Took down Raschke. The main event, of course, next week. World Champion Nature Boy Ric Flair taking on Magnum TA. World Tag Team titles on the line. The Midnight Express, the champions. taking on the challengers, the Rock and Roll Express. We also know it's going to be Lex Luger challenging Nikita Koloff for the U.S. Championship. Barry Windham takes on Ron Garvin in a first blood match. Good arm drag there by Simmons. And just announced moments ago, Tully Blanchard taking on Dusty Rhodes. That and so much more coming your way next Saturday night, 6:05 p.m. What a neck breaker there by Simmons. And we know Arn Anderson's going to be challenging for that TV title. Simmons having words with Ivan Koloff. Look out, Paul Jones coming over. Sam Houston might want to come over and assist his partner. Suplex on the floor. Here comes Raschke out. Paul Jones up in the face of Ron Simmons. Look out, Paul Jones. Simmons just kind of shoved him away. Paul Jones and Baron von Raschke had some differences of opinion there. I don't know what Jones said, but Raschke didn't like it. He came back in the ring, floored Ron Simmons with that clothesline. Simmons able to kick out, and now Ron rolling out to the floor. He's going after Paul Jones again. Here comes Ivan over. Simmons ready for him. Inverted atomic drop. Baron von Raschke attacking Ron Simmons, throws him back in the ring. So far, Sam Houston has not gotten involved. Could be waiting for his spot. You never know what's going through the mind of young Sam Houston. And Raschke just took out Ron Simmons. Cover. Referee slow to get into position, but Simmons kicks out very quickly. And now Simmons again going after Ivan Koloff. Paul Jones threw him back in the ring. Don't forget, Paul Jones he is a former wrestler, and a great one at that. He ran him over with that clothesline. Raschke takes the boots to the eyes. Armbar. And the elbow right to the shoulder. Raschke now working over Ron Simmons, deadlifting Ron. Spins him over. What a slam by Raschke. Deceptively strong. You wouldn't know by looking at the arms, but Raschke, a very strong man. Simmons getting to one knee, now to both feet. Drives the elbow to the midsection, and again. Breaks the hold, kick right to the midsection. Doubles over Baron von Raschke. Good right hand, that busted open Baron. What a right hand by Raschke. Simmons was going for the leg, but Raschke just wailed him with that right hand. Grabs the legs. Alley-oops him out of the corner. Raschke having trouble seeing right now with the blood flowing into the eyes. Could have pinned the man, but was not in a good position. And now goes for the cover. A one count. Simmons able to kick out. Great action here tonight on World Championship Wrestling. Still to come. Good reversal there by Simmons. Nice move. Simmons pounding the chest and flexing. The fans here in Atlanta behind the All-American. Short arm clothesline. He took down the Baron. Fans standing. Simmons might be going for that running power slam. Hoist him up. He's got him. Down goes Baron. Cover. Leg hooked. And there's number one, Paul Jones. 1, 2, 3. Simmons had the man pinned. But Paul Jones interferes. Went for the right hand. The referee got hit by accident trying to intervene between Paul Jones and Ron Simmons. But Ron Simmons with a knee right to the face. And not going after Ivan Koloff. He is taking on all three men. And Simmons now, he's going to lose his cool. He's got a sledgehammer. He just hit Koloff with a sledgehammer. If he hits Baron, it's going to be disqualification. Baron gets it out of his hand and rakes the eyes. Baron got it out of the man's hands. And the match is going to continue. It looked like Baron used the end of that sledgehammer to drive it into the knee of Ron Simmons. Referee did not see that. Baron seeming very out of it right now. Referee might want to check him. He is bleeding profusely, not thinking clearly. And there, he's going for the claw. No, he's going for a choke slam, but Simmons just countered it and drove Raschke to the mat. Again, I don't think Baron von Raschke is not with it right now. Losing a lot of blood. Paul Jones up on the apron. Meanwhile, Simmons going for that slam again. Has him up. Running power slam. Cover. Leg hooked. 1, 2, 3. No! Raschke kicked out. Simmons complains of a slow count. I don't know. Nonetheless, this match continues as Raschke was able to kick out. But how much longer can Raschke go? He has lost a lot of blood. There's the claw! The claw out of nowhere! Driving Simmons to the mat! Referee checking in! Simmons fading fast! Can he break out? Referee calls for the bell, it's over! Raschke just beat Ron Simmons! What a win by Baron von Raschke! That is a move that Simmons had to avoid. He did not do so. And that's a loss for Ron Simmons here tonight. Fans stunned. There's here the running power slam. Paul Jones interferes. 1, 2, 3. Had the man pinned. But Baron von Raschke able to rally after a lot of offense from Ron Simmons. Locks on that claw hold. And he's going to pick up the win here tonight. Put one in the win column for Paul Jones' Army, and more specifically for the Clawmaster, Baron von Raschke.
Here is your winner, Baron.
Raschke does not allow referee Bill Scott to raise his hand, his arm in victory. What a win. Sam Houston looks stunned. Paul Jones getting very involved in that match. We'll be right back. Welcome back, wrestling fans. The action continues now as Rip Rogers will take on Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Indiana, weighing in at 215 pounds, Rip Rogers.
First time seeing Rip Rogers in some time here in World Championship Wrestling. Looking for a victory over Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Also still to come, Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull in action. Chief Wahoo McDaniel is here. And of course, Magnum TA is in action. He has requested a warm-up match before his big main event match next week against Nature Boy Ric Flair. And still to come, one more match in the TV title tournament before the finals next week. It's going to be the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff taking on gorgeous Jimmy Garvin.
And
Missy Hyatt accompanying Eddie Gilbert to the ring.
And from Tennessee, weighing in at 220 pounds, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Always good to see Missy Hyatt here in World Championship Wrestling. She is the manager of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. And they're hoping to celebrate with a victory here tonight over Rip Rogers. Eddie Gilbert desperately needs a victory here to move up the rankings in World Championship Wrestling. The fans love him here in Atlanta and throughout the world. While we have a moment, I'm going to flash back to when I was in kindergarten. There's a reason. Some of you like my crazy stories, so I'll give you one here. To the present, first of all. As you know, I do some DoorDash in my spare time. And I was doing a DoorDash delivery on Friday. Not yesterday, but the Friday before. I picked up an order from a Mexican restaurant at a place called The Green in Beaver Creek. When I walked in to pick up the customer's food, the lady who was the hostess, I guess, she walked by and I got a flashback because she had a really strong perfumey, or a really strong flowery perfume that she wore. It was the same kind that my kindergarten teacher used. And that kindergarten teacher I had good memories of. She was great. Unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago now. But anyway, flashing back to kindergarten. So, Rip Rogers with a cover, looking for the upset. A 1 count only. So in kindergarten, I had to take speech classes. And I started not dreading it. I didn't like going. I didn't like going to speech class. So one day, I decided to skip going to speech class. And I just stayed in my regular class like normal. Can you believe that? Like a 5-year-old kid thinking that? I'm just not going to go. I don't know if other kids were teasing me that I had to go to speech class. I don't think that was the case because I don't remember it. And usually, I remember, and most people remember, unpleasant things that happen, like getting made fun of. So I don't think that was the case at all. Most of the kids were really nice in this school. I think I just worked it up in my own mind. Going for a pile driver, plants him! Worked it up in my own mind that it was wrong and nobody else was doing it. So I felt odd and out of place. Cover here by Gilbert, and he's going to cruise to victory here tonight. Gilbert and Missy Hyatt going to the pay window. Good news for Missy Hyatt and Gilbert. As we go back to the replay, I'll try to finish up this story real quick. So the speech teacher comes down to the class looking for me. And picture a short 5-year-old skinny kid with dark brown hair,
Here is your winner,
wearing sneakers, corduroy pants, and a blue t-shirt that says Bazooka Joe on it. He's picking up a chair and waving it at the teachers. I don't think I was going to hit anybody with it, but I was just letting people know I did not want to go. I remember the teachers like backing off, even the kids did. And I was in the morning kindergarten class. I'll finish it in a minute. We're back, wrestling fans. In the ring, Randy Mulkey. He is taking on the Raging Bull Manny Fernandez.
Weighing in at 275 pounds, Manny Fernandez.
So everybody backed off, but I think that teacher that I liked really well, she talked me down out of it. She like calmed me down because I had a lot of respect for her. Even at that young age, I liked her. So I cooled down. I think I didn't have to go. I think they talked to my parents and somehow I got out of it. It's hard to remember all the details, but I just remember picking up a classroom chair. It was a small chair, of course, but still, I like shaking it. So if there was any connection to pro wrestling, that might have been one. I was watching it then. I think I had just started watching it in kindergarten because my dad watched it on TBS. It was called WTBS then. And I watched it with him, saw how much he liked it, and I started liking it too. We watched it together every Saturday night. Referee Bill Scott calls for the bell, and Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull, runs over Randy Mulkey, now driving the elbow to the top of the head. So there's your bonus story from my crazy childhood. Slams the wrist into the mat. And now drives the head down. Randy Mulkey fighting back. Has Manny Fernandez down. Rip Rogers looked pretty impressive against Eddie Gilbert. And now Randy Mulkey trying to pull an upset over Manny Fernandez. Randy backed away from Manny. Throws him into the corner, but Manny moved out of the way. Manny has him up. Drops him over the knee. Gut first. Leaping leg drop across the throat. But anyway, just weird how some memories come back just by a perfume smell. A punch right to the midsection, but Manny Fernandez with the arm drag. Throws him in. Spinning back elbow. Good to see Manny Fernandez back in action. It's been a while since we've seen him. Both men collide. Front face lock by Manny. Good forearm blast. Manny picks him up again. And a second gutbuster. He busted the gut right over the knee. And now Fernandez whips him into the ropes. Flying forearm shot. I think David Crockett called the flying burrito. Cover 2. He got him. Easy win here tonight for Manny Fernandez. Let's look at the replay. Just blasted him with that flying forearm shot. Your winner, the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez.
Here is your winner, Manny Fernandez.
Don't go away. More action still to come. In the ring, Lee Scott and Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Big right hand there by Wahoo. Good neck breaker. Takes down Lee Scott. Good to see a lot of our wrestlers getting some action here tonight. Right before the Clash of the Champions next week. Drives the elbow to the back of the head. Picks up Lee Scott. Front face lock. Hoist him up. Textbook suplex by Wahoo. Now a chin lock. Driving Lee Scott down. If you ask me who my favorite preliminary wrestler is, I would say Lee Scott. There's a knee right to the forehead. The Mulkey's right behind him though. Wahoo misses, but stomps him the second time. And now drops the big elbow right across the chest. Right to the sternum. And Lee Scott in trouble. Trying to force Scott to submit right here. Drops him down. Picks him up. Front face lock. Rakes the eyes. Has him up. Standing vertical suplex. Beautiful move. Wahoo measures him. Rolling knee drop. Wahoo just taunting Lee Scott now. Pulling on the arm. And gripping the wrist. Wahoo again. Going for that knee. Lee Scott taking a lot of punishment. Wahoo stalking Scott. Tomahawk chop. He drilled him with that right across the forehead. It's over. Easy win for Chief Wahoo McDaniel this evening. Let's take a look at the replay. Here it is, that big tomahawk chop. Knocked the man out. Your winner, Wahoo McDaniel. Wait a minute, fans. Wild Bill Irwin and Black Bart have charged into the ring and taken down Wahoo McDaniel. Come on, ref, get that. He just knocked down Bill Scott. Black Bart came in with a chair. No, the chair. Wait a minute, fans. We've cut to the back now. Chaos abounding. Sam Houston just DDT'd Ivan Koloff on a steel chair. And now taking the chair to Koloff. We've got chaos in the ring and backstage. That ambulance is ready. It needs to be tonight. He just threw the chair on top of Ivan's head. We've got to get back to the ring. We're back, wrestling fans. What a crazy night it's been. Italian Stallion was not in the building to help his partner. Ivan Koloff was on his way to the ring to take on gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. But fans, Koloff's being loaded into the ambulance. He's not going to be able to compete tonight. We've got a main event. Sam Houston just spoiled the main event. They're loading Koloff up. Koloff being taken away in the ambulance. I don't think Garvin's even aware. Referee just said something to him. He is waiting for Koloff. Garvin's going to win this by forfeit. Garvin's moving on to the finals. We'll be right back. So sorry, fans. We gotta continue. Magnum TA taking on Bill Mulkey.
His opponent from Virginia Beach, Virginia, weighing in.
So sorry, no main event this evening. Garvin's happy. It's going to be Jimmy Garvin and Arn Anderson next week for the TV title. Meanwhile, Italian Stallion and Chief Wahoo McDaniel, they're going to take on Wild Bill and Black Bart next week in a Tornado tag match. They're going to settle the score once and for all. McDaniel being looked at in the dressing room area after being attacked by the Long Riders. And Sam Houston just robbed Ivan Koloff at a chance at winning the TV title. Referee Bill Scott calls for the bell. Right hand there by Magnum the Boss. Next week, Magnum TA taking on Ric Flair for the world title. It's going to be Tully Blanchard taking on Dusty Rhodes. World Tag Team Champs, the Midnight Express, taking on the Rock and Roll Express. U.S. Champion Nikita Koloff taking on Lex Luger. Barry Windham facing Ron Garvin in a First Blood match. And just announced for the TV title, Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin taking on the Enforcer Arn Anderson. The Powers of Pain face the Road Warriors inside a steel cage. Italian Stallion and Chief Wahoo McDaniel facing the Long Riders, Black Bart and Wild Bill Irwin. That is a Tornado tag match, meaning anything goes. And fans just signed for the U.S. Tag Team titles. Ron Simmons and Sam Houston taking on the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff and Baron von Raschke. They're going to settle the score with the U.S. Tag Team titles on the line. That is if Ivan Koloff's able to wrestle next week. Sam Houston DDT'd him on that steel chair and then walloped him with that chair repeatedly. Ivan Koloff has been taken to the hospital. Good move there by Magnum TA. We are almost out of time. We're going to stay with you for the conclusion of this matchup. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We'll be back again. Belly-to-belly suplex. Next Saturday night, 6:05 p.m., Clash of the Champions 2, Spring Stampede. Magnum TA polishes off Bill Mulkey in record time. He looks primed and ready for his big World Heavyweight title match next week against Nature Boy Ric Flair. Clash of the Champions 2, Spring Stampede, 6:05 p.m. next Saturday. Don't miss it for anything. Ric Flair has come to the ring, but Magnum's ready for him. We're out of time. Into the ropes goes Flair. Belly to belly. See you next week.